Welcome back to the second map between Fire DE and Giacomo. This time it is Turtle Rock, and this time it is cross positions. So Fire in yellow spawning in the top right spawn position, altar first for him, and his opponent Giacomo spawning in the bottom left spawn position. Also altar first and Sigurd, so like on the previous map, he's gonna start with a very early Death Knight. This time, well, I'm assuming the same strategy isn't gonna work twice here for Giacomo, and I'm assuming this time Fire might be scouting a bit more carefully compared to on the first map, because he's definitely not gonna wanna fall for the same all-in strategy twice. And of course the fact that this is cross positions here isn't gonna make this any easier for Giacomo. Scout Acolyte this time heading out on the map, so he's not gonna go without scouting in this case, because of course he needs to know where his opponent's at, because his Death Knight is gonna wanna start harassing as soon as it comes out. Fire DE going for the AM again. Yeah, barracks finishing, second farm about to finish. Again, the base is open, in this case even on two gaps, but he's closing this one, so it's only one gap again. Also previously he played without an arcane tower inside his base, which was just a result of him going for that expansion so early on, because you cannot just afford 70 lumber for an arcane tower if you go for the expansion that early on, because your lumber income is of course decreased by a lot. But in this game he's getting the scout tower early on. Acolyte is gonna find the human base. Footman here on the right hand side. He might be going for this ogre creep camp first instead of the tiny green one. So heroes are out. Death Knight, well, what's he doing? He's actually, looks like he's not going to go for harassment early on. Oh wow, or did he anticipate the instant expansion again on the red camp? Not really sure why the Death Knight is heading out on the right hand side of the map here. I mean, he clearly scouted this human main base. Well, we'll see. Okay, now the Death Knight is turning around for whatever reason and heading towards the middle of the map here. Of course, he's going to be way too late to do anything about this. I mean, he might be arriving just now if he moved properly. So now that just cost him a few more seconds of potential harassment. And with all of these peasants being more or less on full HP, he's not really able to snipe out any of them. So therefore, level 2 for the AM already, replenishment potion found at the orange camp, and now the Death Knight is coming in. Third water mantle actually spawned for Fire at the moment. First kill going to the Death Knight as well. He picks up the Mantle of Intelligence, which is, yeah, decent for him. Couple more coils, bit more mana regeneration, which maybe get him another coil additionally here and there. And yeah, Fire DE still continues worker production, so that's a clear sign that he's gonna go for an expansion again. Ghouls in the meantime start creeping a bit on their own as well. Tech started by Giacomo, so we're not gonna see some crazy all-in kind of strategy again. Actually, Fire again didn't scout at all, so he just basically trusts in his own ability to potentially hold such an all-in this time. And now he's pulling the militia. It looks like he's gonna go for the expansion right in front of his main base here, instead of the one which is on the spawn position next to him. Footman is gonna get out of there alive. The Acolyte apparently woke up the creeps before being taken down here. And wow, Giacomo again is on the wrong track. He's so certain apparently that Fire was gonna creep here, and of course thanks to his lack of information, because his scout Acolyte died, he was completely on the wrong track, and he doesn't want to have this time be completely wasted. So he at least takes a little green camp after just running to the top left corner of the map. But that's, of course, this has gone so well for Fire. Like twice the Death Knight was heading towards this the spawn position here on the top left side of the map, and twice Fire was not there And it looks like now Giacomo is just gonna creep this on his own. I guess it's not very likely to be... Oh, okay, hold that thought. I guess it's gonna be scouted by Fire DE. Oh, Tomo XP for the DK, level 3 for him, very important. And let's see who's gonna get the first Troll Warlord. Probably the Undead, since he's got the level 2 coil to finish that one. Yeah, well, he got it without the coil, and he's got the Lionhorn of Stormwind. Let's see how much fire is gonna be able to get in return. He actually nothing, and he gets surrounded, but the skeleton should be taken down here. Still, there's so much damage being done by the ghouls. Great heal potion had to be used already. In return, finally, the first ghoul is gonna fall, granting level 3 to this AM. Another coil onto him, and there's still so much mana on the DK, so he's gonna need 2 more coils, which are gonna do a total of 280 damage, and that's gonna be enough to take down this AM. A replenishment potion used here, and he's still gonna be forced to use the town portal to dodge. Oh, very nicely done by Giacomo. To dodge the coil here, so... but the AM is... Okay, I think this was not intentionally. So he used the coil here and canceled the coil animation because he didn't want to waste the mana, and he knew Fire was gonna dodge the coil with the town portal. And Fire did just that, and therefore the Death Knight saved himself the mana for a coil there. Not really sure why he cancelled the second coil though. Maybe in this case the AM was getting out of vision range or something, not sure. Anyways, DK for now has to head back because, you know, the few ghouls he had remaining were low HP and had to be sent back. So double slaughterhouse coming for Giacomo. First one already finishing, tier 3 coming, so we'll see a push with many destroyers. Let's see if eventually he's gonna want to pick up a Panda second to keep the pressure up here against this expansion, but the first towers are already finishing, so I guess until destroyers are up in the air, there's not really too much Giacomo's gonna be able to harass the expansion of Fire. Of course, tower production also has to be started at the main base of Fire. Even though it's less likely that the destroyer push is going to occur there, because the expansion is basically in the direct path in between the undead's base and the human's main base. But you never know. So second slaughterhouse is finished right now. Tier 3 is gonna finish soon, and it looks like Fire also does not want to harass here, but I guess the problem is there's not really anything he can gain at the moment. The shop is positioned very nicely, very hard to take down, and the slaughterhouses are finished already, so there's not really anything he can achieve here with harassment. So he's just continuing to creep, got himself the boots of speed in the meantime. Still no new town portal. Replenishment potion has been used, great heal potion has been used, so yeah, nothing more to gain here. And surround on the Death Knight, but this footman can be killed here, but I think he's... Oh wow, he was putting a lot of emphasis on keeping the surround closed here at the right side of the DK, and therefore accidentally he opened it at the top of the Death Knight, and he immediately, Giacomo realizing that, moved out of that position and yeah, got himself out of there without a town portal. So tier 2 for Fire, he's only has one masonry upgrade. I'm assuming he's gonna get the next one soon, and he's getting as many towers as he can because he knows the destroyers are coming, and the only thing he's got at the moment against that are towers. So, you know, he could either try to go for Dragonhawk Riders or for flying machines, and flying machines, as long as there's no Panda and no, you know, strong undead hero composition, are definitely the better choice, but he needs tier 3 for that, and that's a long way to go. He didn't even start it, so at the moment he's putting all his resources into holding the destroyer push.
Upgrade complete.
And if he's getting that done, then things are looking good for him, but if he doesn't, yeah, then of course he's gonna lose his expansion, and that'd be quite bad. So another Ecolite produced here. Is Giacomo not gonna go for the big push here? Looks like he might be going for a counter expansion, which could be nice, as Fire is investing so many resources into holding a potential destroyer push. He's gonna have 8 towers here, he's gonna have like 4, yeah, another 8 here. And where's the Acolyte? Wow, and he's immediately scouting the Acolyte, heading out of the Undead's main base, so he's gonna know what's up, and that is very, very important information for Fire. Invo Potion for the Mountain King, which is great, of course. Still T2 for him, second Masonry upgrade coming right now. Of course, they are very important against the Destroyer aggression, especially back then, before the Masonry upgrades got nerfed, and now he's going triple workshop, and I'm assuming tier 3, yeah, tier 3 as well. So this means he's gonna go into tank production against the counter expansion he's expecting here, and which is definitely going to come. Only 5 destroys here in the air. Well, 5 is still a lot as well. Let's see how much damage he's gonna be able to do here. 2 towers already down. Majority of Ghouls has gone down as well, so some nice focus fire by Fire here with his towers, taking down those Ghouls first. 4th tower already up to 4, and only 4 towers remaining. Mana on destroyers is still available for a little while longer. Another tower is probably gonna fall, but that's about all Giacomo is probably gonna be able to reach here. And in the meantime, the expansion got cancelled by the human army. Very important move by Fire DE. 4 destroyers now remaining, but they are out of mana, so they barely do any damage against the towers, and they don't do splash damage against the human army anymore, and surround against the Death Knight, and he's gonna be forced to town portal here. So yeah, very important by Fire here to win some time to get up to tier 3, to get that tank production going. See, is he gonna try and go for the expansion another time? Fire very nicely leaving 1 water metal here to yeah, just see the expansion being the expansion attempt coming in for another time, and yeah, it works out very nicely. Okay, this isn't gonna do too much for Fire with the entire Undead army there, of course. But if he wants Giacomo, that is, if Giacomo really wants to go into a longer game, he's gonna have to add more heroes. He's gonna have to prepare for late game fights, and he needs a strong hero composition for that. So let's see, if he's even gonna do that, or if he's just gonna go for another huge destroyer push again and basically decide to go all in here, because there are only 5 towers up at the moment, 3 more coming, and now he's got some mana on his destroyers again, immediately going in for the first guard tower, which is going to be taken down rather easily. Death Knight needs to be careful though, he's got no town portal, and if he loses that one, that'd be a pretty huge deal. First 3, well, that's not going to do too much. Flying machines in the air already, 2 of the destroyers very low. First one is being taken down, second one is being caught here, but the Death Knight is going to have to head back. Then again, there's not really anything remaining on the ground for Fire to eat. The Mountain King is out of mana for now. Coil goes on to another destroyer, but Fire has one more time here. Again, the destroyers are more or less out of mana, and still there are towers up at the expansion, and I feel like Fire is really holding strong here. He's reached tier 3, he's getting the flying machine production going, and he's getting even another expansion and a scout tower here, which is again going to basically make the attempt of a counter expansion obsolete here. Death Knight needs to be careful. There is again no mana on the Mountain King, so Death Knight gets out alive, but again there's no mana on the destroyers. For now they still can beat this number of flying machines, actually 4 more here, and he's just getting the flag cannons upgrade right now, and once that one is done, things are gonna get a lot harder for these destroyers. I feel like Fire should maybe stay back here until the flag cannons upgrade actually is finished. He can't just pull those guys back, and that's exactly what he's doing here. No need to fight his opponent out on the open right now with the economic advantage he has with even the second expansion, which he's getting, which is gonna finish soon. And what's the plan for Giacomo? That's the big question here, because right now flag cannons are finished, which is going to make these flying machines a lot more useful against the destroyers, and he's going for the counter expansion again. So I'm not really sure if I want to call it indecisive, because he wanted to go for the counter expansion, which in the first place didn't seem so bad, but then it got cancelled and then he changed his mind, and now he's changing his mind again because the all-in push isn't going to work. But things aren't going to get easier for him, because there's already 12 flying machines on the field. Again, Fire perfectly aware of what's going on. The Acolyte's probably going to fall, as well as the expansion, and that means Giacomo is going to have to put it back again. Next Acolyte's already available to put the expansion, or to at least to attempt to build the expansion again. Of because Fire isn't going to want to fight this straight up, so he's going to have to head back here. He's got Boots of Speed on the Mountain King though, he's got the TP on the AM if things get too nasty. But it looks like that's not going to be the case here. The Flying Machines. Curious if he's got the bombs to just prevent this from happening. But right now, so many Flying Machines with Flag Cannons against Manaless Destroyers. This is not a fight the Undead can take. But it's not a fight that the Destroyers can escape here, because without the aura, they are so much slower than the Flying Machines. And yeah, there's the G by Giacomo, because there's no way he was going to come back into this match. 2 expansions against none, a ton of Flying Machines against a ton of Manaless Destroyers. And therefore Fire DE takes the second map. I've talked about it within the game. You know, right from the start, the Death Knight was out of position several times. The human expansion got through without any trouble. Then at first, it looked like he wanted to go for the big destroyer push. Then he didn't, because Fire invested all his resources. He waited with his tier 3. He invested so much into towers, which, you know, made the decision to go for a counter expansion more viable for Giacomo. But Fire reacted properly, went to tier 3 immediately as he saw it, and he saw it so quickly with the scout peasants seeing the Acolyte heading out of the Undead's main base. So a perfectly timed scout there by Fire. Not sure if it was intentionally though. He reacted perfectly to that. I feel like, you know, Giacomo, seeing that Fire DE saw his Acolyte moving out of his base, maybe shouldn't have gone for the big push there against the human expansion. Should have stayed around his expansion, maybe like creep the shop on the left hand side, and you know, not give Fire the opportunity to walk over there and cancel the expansion multiple times, because after that he changed his mind again when there were already so many towers up at the expansion. He didn't break the expansion. Then he changed his mind again when it was looking even more horrible for him. And, you know, then it was just over basically at this point, because Fire DE had his expansion for such a long time, and he was just able to easily outnumber the Destroyers and tie the series here. So we're finally going into a third match again. It's been a while, and that's gonna be on Twisted Meadows.